I was fortunate to have grandparents who decided to take me from my parents in 1939, 1940, and was taken into the forest where my grandmother and grandfather lived. They lived in very primitive, according to European standards, but in terms of Maori standards, they lived a very, very full life. And as a baby, I grew up hearing the sounds of birds. As a baby, I was taken on the back of my grandfather to go fishing. On the back of my grandmother, I was taken into the food pits to separate food or to plant food. And so I was very, very close to nature. We lived in the forest, and our whole house was made of the punga tree. My bed was made of the fern frond. My light wasn't electricity, it was a rag that was placed in a stone bowl with pork or bird fat, and that would start burning most of the time. Why I start that way in terms of my oneness, my grandfather and grandmother always said, when you open your eyes, lift up your mind to the Creator who gave you the forest, who gave you the waters, who gave you the land and the food therein. And remember that. So when you wake up, God is your beginning. When you go to bed at the end of a day, you turn your mind to God, and there you give thanks for the goodness that you find around me. So having lived in that lifestyle for 5 years, oneness was oneness with my God. Oneness with my God, Io. And one was with the gods, the departmental gods. There was Tane Mahuta, the god of the forest, who provided not only the trees and the leaves and the birds, the tui, the keredu, the pipi wharaurua, the pipi. These were the birds that were edible. Then there was the trees, the tawa, the totara, the miro, on which the great keredu or pigeon was fattened. And so I began to realize the immensity of this all-powerful being that I didn't know where he was, but I was told he was the creator of all the things around me. And so in learning about my oneness with this great, great, powerful spirit, Waidua, I was able to share that with people around me, first of all my grandparents, and continue to give thanks to them for sharing with me this idea of being one with nature, one with Io. And then having done that and having respected everything around me, there was no young plant in the forest that I would run and trample on. I would go around that young plant realizing that it had to grow up to take the place of the big trees that were ready to fall. And so I learned, hingatu he te kura, aramai he te kura. When one fern frond dies, another one takes its place. When another big tree dies, another plant takes its place. And so the oneness stayed with me, and I learned how to be one with my grandparents, with my parents. There was nothing I would do for them, because they taught me how to be one with the Creator and one with everything around me. Bird life, I would only go and capture a bird if it was for food, or if it was to get the feathers to make the beautiful cloaks, the korowai, the kakahu that my people. So I was one with the environment, I was one with the trees, and going to the waters, I would only go, and quite often where people use the Japanese hook and the German hook to hook the fish. I would go and learn how to tickle the trout or the eels and just rub. And when I knew I had the right size, I would then pull it out and throw it back onto the land. Then I learned how to do that. Even with the birds, it wasn't snaring, it was learning how to feed them in front of you by providing a whole stone or a wooden bowl and putting the fat inside, the fat or the leftovers from the food. We never wasted food. It was either given for the animals or given for the birds. And in the end, I was able to take my hand and be one with bird life. And having done all that, I learned how to live with people. And having learned with people, I learned how to become one with them.